The West Philippine issue and the conflict with China. Identifying the South China Sea and the West Philippine Sea. China has made plans to claim all maritime resources outside its boundaries, including those in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Australia, as well as those in India and the Indian Ocean. It will carry out its plans with the help of the United Nations and nuclear and military arsenals. Natural resources and people-to-people trade have long been abundant in the South China Sea. More than $5 trillion in global trade is anticipated to pass through the region each year, and explorations have uncovered significant natural gas and hydrocarbon deposits. China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and the Philippines and Taiwan all claim territory in the enormous expanse of islands, rocks, and archipelagos that make up the sea, causing tensions that endanger peace and prosperity. China and the Philippines battle over disputed territories in the South China Sea. The South China Sea and the West Philippine Sea is one of the problems that the Philippines are facing right now. The disputes involving the islands, reefs, banks, and other features of the South China Sea, including the Spratly Island and Scarborough Shoal, which owned by the Philippines. The reef is claimed as territory by both China and the Philippines, but the inner lagoon has been blocked by China since 2012. Despite of blocking with our own territories, China are also illegally fishing from our own island. China dispute over the West Philippine Sea. China has claimed maritime zones surrounding these features greater than 12 million, from which it has sought to exclude the Philippines, notwithstanding the encroachments of these zones on the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, or on international waters within the 9-dash line. Philippines objected strongly to China's claims during various bilateral consultations. It also took the matter to United Nations Secretary General. China has prevented the Philippines from carrying out oil and gas development projects and from fishing in the disputed waters. The Philippines is a key player in the South China Sea territorial disputes, which are getting sharpened due to China's growing assertiveness and the claimed non-states competition over resources, rather than appealing to international law as a bulwark against China's pursuit. A more pragmatic approach than confronting China in the hope of reaping economic benefits. Philippines dispute Chinese maritime expansion at South China Sea. Filipino President Rodrigo Duterte is gearing up for a face-off with China. Ahead of his fifth visit to China, he is facing pressure from back home to raise the problem of Beijing's military expansion in the South China Sea. Duterte already threatened to cancel the trip if he couldn't discuss the contested waters. The Philippines, like others in the region, rejects China's claim to the area. China wants control over major parts of the entire sea, which is a critical shipping route, rich in fish and oil and gas reserves. In recent years, Beijing has stepped up naval patrols and even constructed man-made islands there. In 2016, an international tribunal in the House ruled that China was in the wrong. China ignored the ruling. In the Philippines, critics have pounced on Duterte for supposedly turning a blind eye to China's development in return for trade, but when a Chinese vessel rammed a fishing boat in June, leaving 22 Filipino fishermen dead, Duterte could not ignore the public outrage any longer. Philippines accuses Chinese Coast Guard of firing water cannon at its boat in South China Sea. Beijing has hit her back after the Philippines accused the Chinese Coast Guard of blocking its boats in the South China Sea and firing water cannon at them. China disputes the claims, saying it is Manila that is guilty of trespassing after its vessels crossed into Chinese waters without permission. Philippine President slams China for latest flare-up in South China Sea. The Philippine President has taken aim of China condemning bidding of the latest flare-up in the South China Sea. The incident involved Chinese Coast Guard ships firing water cannon at Filipino boats. The comments came at the summit of Asian leaders of Chinese President Xi Jinping. Rodrigo Duterte warned that the confrontation does not speak well of relations between both sides. The summit has also been marked by the absence of Myanmar and upgrading of Asian relationship with China. And by the way, we are the group 3 and my members are Bascos Maria Nieves D, Kadivida Lovely Macy, Cavalida Cherise Jane C, Colina Janice Real, Diala Rena May, Distrito Lorraine Jane L, Iran Anika Jelana B, Figuracion Danica Rose T. Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a blessed day ahead.